Hello and welcome to Flashback, the games you love, the stories you forgot. This is episode 17, and it's me, RGT, and I am joined by, as always, the Portal Professor, the Retro Reminiscer, the Podcast Professional. It is UCP George. How you doing, George?
I have arisen like some sort of dead creature that you've just summoned from the ground. I don't think I exist outside of episodes of Flashback. I think you just put me to rest and then you summoned me with those words.
Like you're cryogenically frozen, or just
I
fall
think
your out.
so, yeah, like the Universal Soldier.
Yeah, of podcast.
Yeah, but the little version.
The
Just so
little
everybody gets
Universal
the right,
Soldier.
yeah, so everyone just gets the right sort of metrics and sort of budget that we're going for here. Let's not get carried away with ourselves here. Let's simmer down.
Well, thanks for joining us as always.
I'm glad to be here, glad to be unfrozen for my 1.5 hour sort of unfreezing. It's a bit weird to live your life in these little windows, but yeah, mate, it's picked another great month and year. I have to celebrate your ability to zone in on a sweet spot in gaming.
Well, as George said, this week we're doing May 2005. Yeah, another one in the 2000s. Interesting one as well. Some different games, some games I've played, some games I haven't played. Same probably with George. But I think we ought to just get right into it, really. Let's see what we would have been playing in May 2005. I'll go first. I'm going to go straight off with 3rd of May 2005, Forza Motorsport.
Yeah, I just saw that. I don't know why I didn't see that when the doc loaded up earlier, but yeah, I was there day and date for that. I was needing that on OG Xbox, I'll be honest with you. And yeah, I enjoyed it, to be fair. I don't know if you've played it recently. I've not played it since the moment. Obviously, we had the 360 loom in at the back end of the year, so it did feel a little bit kind of naughty to be blowing money on these games on the lead up. It always did back in the day, didn't it?
Yeah, definitely. And I think I've played it about a year ago, 18 months ago. And you can tell this is getting towards the end of that because it does look good for the system. You know, they'd worked out what they can do on that, and it does look good for the year. And obviously,
I'll be honest with you, mate. I know the other Forza has implemented more things, but there was something about the. I often go on about this. I have on Flashback something that sequels capitalize on something that you maybe didn't like about the original, and they expand that out.
yeah.
There was something about the heart of the original Forza that kind of made it. It kind of incorporated a little bit more of that sort of Sega GT vibe.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think it was almost wanting to be a GT, a Gran Turismo, but it wanted to be its own thing as well. So
100%.
like the Sega GT, it was, yes, you can do things similar to this, but this is how we would do it. Do you know what I mean? It was almost balancing on that sim stroke, not quite so sim, if that makes sense. Whereas GT had gone a bit more all in with your different things you could do. This was a bit more balanced.
I think the presentation in the menus also gave a nice vibe to me. Like I say, that Sega GT, like it's okay, you're back at the clubhouse, kind of it's all chill here, you kind of work on your cars. And I felt Forza Motorsport maybe gave me that, the first one gave me a little bit more of that feel of ownership. I don't know, we talk about this in car racing sort of ownership games. You want to feel like they are yours and not just like that selectable stat you grab off a menu on your way into a race. Like they need to have that personality and that feel. And this one, it gave it to you, I feel.
Yeah, I think so. It was not as in depth, but that was quite a nice thing as well. You know, you didn't feel overwhelmed in it. There was still the variety there, but it wasn't too intense. And I think that was great thing about the game. I think the cars handled well. I think it was good fun. I think the customization and upgrades were good. And I think if you were an Xbox owner at the time, looking over to PlayStation, thinking, "Oh, wish we had a Gran Turismo." I don't think you'd have been very disappointed with this. I
And
think
that
you'd have
was
been,
me. You
yeah,
know, I'd been playing a lot of GT4 at the time. Um, this was a nice alternative. I'll be honest with you, and I was
mm,
grateful for it. And it was a reason to turn on the big green machine.
mm,
Um, Perfect, I would
mm.
say.
Yeah, brilliant. Anything else tatting your eyes on there, George?
Um, I mean, yeah, of course, I'm going to say Star Wars Episode 3: Revenge of the Sith. I've played that most on PS2, so that's probably the one I'd like to talk to. I think it'd probably be the same on Xbox and GameCube, but obviously when you get to the handheld systems of the era, GBA and all that sort of stuff, I'd imagine very different game. But on the PS2, that's quite fun. Again, that's that kind of. I believe there's that saying, isn't there? How do you know when you're in the good old times while you're actually in the good old times? And I think this era was the good old times for the movie license. I think they, for this, for the most part, they got it right. We'd come off the back of some good Lord of the Rings games. We got this, which plays reasonably well. Um, King Kong was on the horizon. We didn't know that we were in the good old days. There's a game I think coming up in the boot as well, Batman Begins, which I always champion as OG Tom's favourite game, although he denies ever playing it. Although I remember him waxing lyrical to me about how he used to hide in the shadows. Um,
I'm vengeance. No, you're not. You're OG Tom. Come out of the cupboard.
Playing Batman in the dark in your bedroom on
Yeah.
GameCube. I am the knight. Yeah, Tom, it's your tea. Um, your cousin's here. Stop making a plank of yourself. Oh God.
Yeah. I said, don't call
Um,
me Tom. I'm vengeance.
you don't know how true that is. Hey OG, if you're listening. But episode 3, yeah, it nailed it. It had all the bits in it that you'd want. It's obviously doesn't follow the movie that closely. This one, I think, famously came out before, and people grabbed it to try and get any sort of information or footage from the movie to see if they could work out what was happening. It does go off script a little bit, so that left people a little bit confused. But yeah,
See, now I remember, I know I've played this on PS2. Um, I just can't remember anything about it. I can remember I've got the GBA version, which is like a side-scrolling,
I
more like
thought, yeah,
lightsaber beat, but it's actually quite good. It's quite a
yeah,
good game. It's a decent sort of side-scrolling sort of beat 'em up Star
uh,
Wars version. You know, it's,
Yeah, I don't doubt it. It's just been changed and dumbed down and put on in a different way. Totally, exactly how I thought they would have do it.
yeah,
On the preamble, I was like, oh, I bet it's different on GBA. It was going to
it is. Yeah,
be. It
it's
was that
completely
era.
different. Yeah,
Um, yeah, I enjoyed it. I mean, if you've got it in your collection, it's one of those ones
yeah,
you
I
could
have. I
you
must
could
go
play
back to
through
it.
on a Friday night with a mate just for some shits and giggles.
Yeah.
Um, some fun to be a little bit like those Lord of the Rings games. If you play them co-op, there's a little bit of fun in there.
Yeah, definitely. Um, I was going to go with that's another game series I know I've played and I've got, and I can't remember too much about it, and that's Juiced.
Oh, I knew you were going to bring this out. That box art was everywhere.
That
It
was,
was,
yeah,
we say this often, right? But Juiced, if you read gaming literature at the time or even caught a bus, Juiced was everywhere, mate.
yeah.
They saturated the market and the game did kind of all right, but I never gravitated towards it. It was a little bit more the, dare I say it, max power. And I'm not, I'm not talking about page max power. I'm talking,
Yeah.
every other page. And it was
Rambo
just a bit.
doors and
Yeah, it was just a bit too far down that road, or pretends to be, from the way it, showed itself in the magazines and the adverts. We were talking about neon lights and one of these games, and I thought it was one of the I thought it's one of the Need for Speeds, but I could have misremembered it. One of these car modifying games from this era, I'm sure, had a section where you could do the stereo. And in Need for Speed Underground, there were sections where you could do drag, street race, that were short challenges and other bits and bobs, wasn't there? Where you kind of
mm,
went for like style. Now, I misremembered it thinking there was also one where you had to do your stereo, where you'd like
mm.
bought these
See,
certain
that ring a bell
components.
with me. That
Now, it might not be that. Is it juiced? If you remember this message in, because obviously we're not dealing with games of the now. We're talking about games from 20 years ago here, and some of it mileage may vary depending on our memory or our own mileage with the game. My mileage reduced is minimal, but I do remember seeing around at the time, either in magazines or in demo videos, like a stereo off. I might be misremembering it. It was probably something out of GTA that I've just completely got
Yeah,
wrong. But
it reminds something of me. I mean, the
have
thing
you
I
got
always,
Juiced?
yes, I have. Yeah, it's Juice
What
1 and 2.
format is it you've played? What?
Oh,
Yeah, what
back in
format?
the day, I played it on PS2, but I have got the PSP version as well. Um,
Whoa, really?
yeah, but the thing
I've
that,
never seen this on PSP.
yeah, I
I
got
would
the
have
PSP.
avoided it, but I've never seen it.
The thing that I always think, and I remember this from back in the day, thinking this is because Need for Speed was really in a high at the time. You had some really good Need for Speed games coming out. No, they were sort of,
Car culture as well.
yeah, the car culture. They were at the top of the tree at the time, and Pete, guys that were doing games like Juice, they were very clever because they would release in between Need for Speed games. So it was like,
Mm.
we're going to hop on the back of their popularity because these people really want a new Need for Speed. They're not going to get it for another year. Let's release it now because everyone went out and bought Juiced. Yes, you'd play it for 2 or 3 hours and think, well, this isn't Need for Speed, but it'll do until the next one comes out. And that's exactly what I done back in the day. I just bought it in between. I remember having fun with it, but I can't quite remember. I remember it being, I mean, Need for Speed was cheesy enough, and I think this was the full Gorgonzola.
I don't know as it was cheesy at the time. It
No,
felt very cool.
I can even remember playing Juice, thinking, this is a bit too far.
To
Um,
me, Juice feels like Saints Row.
that is a very good comparison.
So I'm a
That,
bit nervous of some of these games. Yeah, you're right.
mm,
They're off cycle. Normally, when you're hungry for a new version, these clones pop up. Like,
yes,
oh, hello. A bit like when you go, you need a new drill. And you're like, yeah, I need to get to like somewhere, Screwfix, B&Q somewhere, get something solid like a DeWalt. You happen to call into Lidl to get some rice and stumble across this. Fine. The mother of all sins, the cure-all. I found a drill in the middle aisle of Lidl. It's fine. We're going to be
mm,
okay. 2 weeks later, the battery pack for fails, and you can't find anything that's compatible with it this side of China, and you end up binning it, realizing you should have bought the DeWalt from B&Q in the first place.
yeah,
That's juiced.
and yeah, and the DeWalt wouldn't have burnt your shed down while you were charging it.
Yeah. And you
Yeah,
only went in for rice, came out with a drill because, well,
and it
I
was
think I
cheaper than the
needed.
rice.
Yeah, it was. It was. And so
Yeah.
was juiced.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, yeah. But yeah, that's something I must go back to. I kept thinking about maybe doing it as a video idea, going back to Need for Speed, clones. See if there is any good ones out of all the games. Have a bit of a chat about them on the show. Because
I think there are, depending on which way you look at it and which came first, chicken or the egg.
mm,
You could say something like Midnight Club is
mm,
actually, is it the OG? Yeah. Is it maybe the best iteration with the most street cool smarts going? Yeah. Is it often underlooked compared for Need for
mm,
Speed? Yeah, very much so. And
mm,
I can't profess to really be into either of them, but it always struck me as a bit odd that Midnight Club had that kind of edge to it, yet felt like it was quite often shelf filler compared to your Need for Speed. Have you
yeah.
played both?
Um,
Presumably.
I played some of one of the midnight clubs, and I remember they had motorbikes and things in, which was quite unique as well, which
Yeah.
stood out from the others.
Why did you never gravitate towards that? Did Need for Speed have a little bit more of the max power culture and felt real, or was Midnight
I
Club?
loved the way once they done Underground 2 and went open world, I was just in it. That open world now I just absolutely loved. And you'd go up in the hills of the city, whatever city you're in. I can't remember, Bay City, whatever it was, and you'd find all your races and drive to them, and you keep adding to your car. And I loved that. And at the time, you just thought, well, everything else is a clone. Need for Speed is the OG, but go back trying these now, you're probably thinking they're probably a bit closer than what you think.
I, th- well, I'm going to say Midnight Club 3 Dub Edition always seemed to have a
Mm,
big
still has. It's
bit of
still,
recognition
quite
around it,
collectible.
mate.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think, and probably retrospectively, probably holds up as a better game. I think I don't own any Midnight Clubs. I might actually get them now and do a retrospective sort of look across the slew of the games versus that concurrent. Because Need for Speed did well with Need for Speed Underground 1 and 2, and then it kind of lost its head and then took ages to find itself again. If you think about it, we've
Well,
spoken
they had
here in
some
the
like
main show about what was it, Shift and The
yeah,
Run.
I think before them with Carbon,
Yeah,
Most Wanted was good. Um, those got good, but then as you started getting towards the end of the PS3, PS4, or especially end of the PS3, they were dropping games and they sort of done like you say, the Run. They done Shift 2, and you're like, well, because I think the
Pro Street.
Pro Street, I think didn't the team split and they were still both allowed to use the name and they both went different directions and
Well,
it
I
was
think maybe they did that on purpose because they were
maybe
trying
yeah.
to then chase the sim market, and maybe half the development team were more keen on that, and then the other one was trying to chase the classic, what had built up as, let's call it the underground market, because I think the Need for Speed brand for me has a wider reach than just those games.
Mm,
But the underground market, and then let's call it the pro street market, seem to be the split of the product.
mm.
Where are we now? Because
Well, the only time they did pull it back on track was Need for Speed 2015, which they done the live actors on the PS4, Xbox One, when they had the live
mm,
actors doing the scenes, and then you done the car, and they'd walk around your car that you'd actually built, and they were chatting, and you in this gang, and I think Ken Block appeared in it, and some others appeared in it, and you always raced at night in the rain. That felt to me like a Need for Speed was coming back,
mate,
and
let me put it to you.
then they went random off
If
on.
Need for Speed was a family pet,
Hmm.
it should and would have been euthanized. It did well, it was a cute little puppy in its early days, but now, nah. Talk to me about Seven Sins, because that's another game on the list that
Mm.
I have seen everywhere, but never played. I
I've never
think it was a
played.
little bit, well, I can tell from the picture here, I didn't quite realise at first what I was looking at. Now I realise you're looking through a woman's legs.
Yes.
To man in a chair, and it's called Seven Sins. I remember this being I remember it being a little bit. I might be misremembering it, but I thought it was a bit Sims-ish.
Yes, I think it is. It's a life simulation video game, I
Is
believe.
it? Okay, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, I remembered it right.
but it
With
is
an adult
based,
twist.
well, in their own blurb, it's based on pride, wrath, greed, envy, lust, sloth, and gluttony.
Mm.
So
I
make
think
of that what you will.
yeah, I see that. I understand the Seven Sins. I'd argue that the front cover probably only really plays into two of them. But whatever sells, you were never going
Yeah,
to get it away on gluttony with you, with a man on the front. You're being force fed pate. Not going to happen.
yeah.
Um,
But
well, I
yeah,
wouldn't buy it anyway. I wouldn't have
no,
remembered that cover, would I? Well, I
no.
might have.
Yeah, I think if you'd have bought it, you would have done.
Yeah, you would.
I always know it's one of them. It's a couple of games of this era that were
In the blurb, who
pushing
made it?
limits. Let me just double check. Um, it was published by in UK. It was Digital Jesters, and in France it was Monte Cristo. And I think that's the only releases it got. I don't think it
What
got a release.
developer was it?
Monte Cristo.
What else did they do?
Monte Cristo are a French developer. Um, I'm trying to find anything that is. They've done a lot of these tycoon games: Wall Street Trader, Airline Tycoon.
Yes.
Um, after Seven Sins, they done 1994 Battle of the Bulge.
Remember me?
Uh, yeah, Silverfall, War on Terror, The Plan. Nothing very memorable. So I think this one probably jumped on the bandwagon of The Sims and tried to use something
Well,
a
I
bit
don't want to rock
smutty
your
to.
boat, mate, but there's also a hot looking game within the what you've been playing section that you've brought May 27th, Singles 2, Triple Trouble. I think we need to remember this is the era of the Oh, pixelated booby, isn't it? Where
Mm,
I felt like this is the BMX Triple X,
mm.
Seven Sins, Playboy Simulator, Singles 2, Triple Trouble. Kind of, this was that era, wasn't
Well,
it? Where
don't
they were
you
trying to be
also,
a little bit edgy.
yeah, don't you also find, I think this is the era where people realised that gamers weren't just children, they weren't just toys, but they weren't quite realising what adult gamers wanted. So a few of them went down the smut route, thinking this is obviously what they want because they're adults, and it's like, well, not
I think they probably
necessarily.
thought they're 18-year-old jocks.
Mm,
I think their idea of what a gamer was had moved up from 12, but it had moved to 18. And then in their mind, like, what do 18-year-old gamers want?
mm.
Boobies. And they're not
Um,
wrong,
no, no, they're not wrong. I
but
mean,
at
there
the
was a
same
few of these.
token, you're in that kind of proverbial societal trap where you like them, you're mildly curious by a game about them, but you know that your street cred cannot survive taking it to the till to buy.
Mm,
So your target audience all of a sudden can't buy your game because of
mm.
social economic reasons.
Yeah, yeah, it's a strange time, isn't it? It is a strange
It
time.
really is. And you probably would have had to have had some real gumption about you to buy the Playboy Simulator game. Now, I have to add, I've always been intrigued by that game, and I'm thinking about picking it up because I do believe underneath all that, it's a magazine simulator, and I'm quite intrigued to try it out.
Well, you do like yourself a simulator soon.
Well, that's why it sort of cropped up.
Mm.
Tell me what else, before we get off track, tell me what else are you going to grab? Because I
Well, I'm
see
gonna
one
have,
here that you want to talk about because
yeah,
you've put your whole reputation on it.
I have, yeah, and that is a game called Cold Fear out on May 17th, 2005. A hidden gem from over on the UCP, one of my hidden gems.
May I say, my whole gaming career, I've always in my mind, and now I see why, got Cold Winter and Cold Fear wrapped up.
Mm.
Two
Cold
games
Winter, what, the Amiga game and an Atari ST game?
on
Cold,
your
oh, no,
thing, May 11th, look.
I was thinking of Midwinter.
Yeah. I don't know what Cold Winter is, but Cold Fear and Cold Winter coming out at the same time and probably occupying the same advertising space was confusing.
Mm. Yeah, I can understand that, definitely. Um, they almost look like they're in the same universe, don't they? But
Mate, they honestly super confused. But tell us about Cold Fear. Elaborate on your hidden gem, my love.
developed by
That was a bit much, wasn't it?
Darkworks.
Calling you my love.
No, I like it. Please stick
You
to
you
it.
like it? Yeah.
Hmm.
Okay, we'll leave it
Um,
in.
published by Darkworks. Sorry, published by Ubisoft and developed by Darkworks. It's a survival horror, very well made, graphically very good for the era. But it's on a ship, a Russian ship, and you go on, and there's been an accident, and the soldiers on this vessel have turned into a lot of zombies, and it had some great effects where the boat was swaying from side to side, and you're obviously trying to keep your sea legs and stuff. But yeah, absolutely brilliant game. Um, it's creeping up in price now, definitely. Unfortunately, from when I done my hidden gem. Yes, George, you're dying to speak.
Midnight Club 3 dub editions. I didn't see it. See her in it.
Oh, is it? I haven't seen it myself yet. Oh no. Um, but yes, Cold Fear. So you could now it's over £20 game for PS2. Maybe able to pick it up a bit cheaper. Um, and I think the Xbox version sort of £10 to £15, which probably graphically the better version. But if you like survival horrors, I'd definitely play Cold Fear. I think it's a great game. And it's another one of them that people are now realising. Like I say, when I done my hidden gem, not really many people had heard about it, but now it's getting a bit out there as one that people need to pick up now. So it's definitely got that sort of hidden gem stature to it. But yeah, really
Yeah.
enjoyed it. Great game. Like I say, if you're into your Resident Evils, pick it up really, because I don't think you'll be disappointed, especially if you like Resident Evil 4, that sort of over the shoulder third person. You'd almost think this was made by Capcom. That wouldn't surprise me if it was, because it's very similar. What else are you looking at on there, George?
Um, I'd like to take a minute to champion the Xbox's. Well, let's hang on while we're here. Let's talk about Midnight Club 3 Dub Edition. Sat here, I tucked it up earlier. I've never played it, but I feel like it's got teeth in the game. I I believe that's also open world.
I believe it is, yes. This must have been the 360 version, I would imagine, as 360 was out then. Obviously, PS3 was not.
No, I don't think the 360 was out.
Oh, well, no, out 2005?
It came out in 2005 for him, but I think it came out in the holidays of 2005,
Must have been a
probably
cross-gen
from
then. Must have been a cross-gen.
November onwards.
So I've got the PS3 version of this.
Interesting. Was it also not on PS2?
That's what I mean. Maybe it was a cross-gen title. But it's definitely one I want to investigate more, really, especially now as we've been talking about these.
Yeah, I don't think it was on 360. I think this was solely on PS2, unless it got a re-release later.
Oh, really?
Um,
I know I've definitely got it on PS3 because it was the last sort of Midnight Club they'd done, wasn't it? Dub Edition 3, but
Maybe it's the dub edition is the pumped up version. I don't know. Here we are doing a podcast about games, and we know absolutely nothing about Midnight Club
not a
3.
clue. Not a clue.
But I'm going to make it my thing to investigate these because, as I said, I think they've got more skin in the game, and I think for the maybe for the long-term purists, there might be a little bit more game here for them to get their teeth into the Need for Speed could ever offer up. So I'm a big champion of that. I think we need to get behind that. Another game I want to get behind and champion, if I may, it's here in its PSP incarnation apparently, but I want to talk about the PS2 and Xbox versions I played of World Snooker Championship. This game seemed to come out of nowhere and really nail on that kind of feeling that
Hmm.
TV. We've talked maybe a couple of episodes ago about Jimmy White's Whirlwind Snooker and its effects on snooker games generally, and the uplifting quality that came as a result of that sort of 3D table that they'd got working. But for me, the next time I noticed snooker take a solid step forward in terms of its presentation and gameplay was with this series. And they really got something going on. I do believe they're still the developer of the game now, RGT, correct me if I'm wrong. But the
Mm.
way they had the TV style, they had obviously the likenesses of the characters, which was missing in previous snooker games, so they were just sort of floating cues in black rooms, weren't they?
Mm.
This one gave you a little bit of everything that you wanted, and I thoroughly enjoyed my time with the World Snooker Championship series. Have you played it? Have you had a dalliance with this game?
I think I've had brief goes on PS2. I've never tried this PSP version.
Mm. I've
I
got
can
one on
imagine. I think I can
PSP.
imagine. Yeah, I think I got rid of my PSP ones. I didn't think I'd ever play them, but I can imagine them playing quite well on there.
Mate, they
Um,
play. One thing that blew me away with the snooker was it was one of those kind of I didn't realize that you could get it was a PS2 game in your pocket basically. It looked good
mm,
enough. It looked good enough on that screen anyway.
mm,
Don't forget me wrong. If you put it on a CRT, like, oh my God, Steve David, what happened to you?
yeah.
Uh,
He looks like he's gone to Turkey.
you look like a you look like a. I tell you what, Steve, you look like a Del Boy model from Lidl that's been set on fire and put out with a brick, playing snooker with a. I guess it's straight, but it looks like a cue made out of Lego stacked on top of each other. I'm sure on a PSP screen it looks gravy. Um,
I think a lot with these snooker games, a lot of people just write them off as almost shovelware. Oh, who's going to play snooker games? Do you know what I mean? It's a
but
bit.
they're not.
No, no, exactly.
And I implore you to pick one of these up because I think you'll
Mm,
quite enjoy it. It
mm.
sounds like you've kind of played with it, but you need to go all in.
You were correct on Midnight Club 3. It's the LA remix, which is PS3, not
That's
3.
it.
So
Is
you
it
were
the LA
correct.
remix that made itself to 360 as well?
Yes, I believe so. Yes, it was those
Right. So
two.
this
Yeah, so
Club 3 dub edition was last this
it
gen.
was. It was Xbox,
PS2.
PS2, and PSP. That's what I've got it on.
Right.
PSP.
Okay. Well,
So,
I'm probably going to look it out on PS2 because I just want to give this its props. And I think if it's on an Xbox and PS2 at this moment, the PS2 is going to be the one that's struggling graphically. So I want to see that happen.
mm. Yeah.
I like to see consoles sweat. If I may, just to brief moment to talk about Jade Empire.
Hmm.
The Xbox had a lot going on with BioWare in this era,
Yeah, had some
and
great exclusives.
this is a continuation of that success, but taken the formula removed from the Star Wars universe and laid here within this kind of Chinese mythological universe. And I'll be honest with you, I enjoyed it. It's been a long time. It's been 20 long years since I played Jade Empire,
Yeah.
but I remember really enjoying it. It felt like a high quality product. I think I've always recommended it in my kind of top 10 lists of Xbox games exclusives anyway that you've got to make sure you've tried or got in your collection. Jade Empire's right up there.
Mm.
And if you've played Knights of the Old Republic 1 and 2 and you're like, oh, I wish there was something else, there is. It's this, and you're
Mm.
going to love it.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely is one if you're playing OG Xbox and you want to pick up the exclusives. This is one you've definitely got to get, Jade Empire. Um, one I we seem to see nearly in every either what you're hoping to play or what you would have been playing. A King of Fighters game. They seem that I mean
Oh, yeah.
they've released some versions of these, haven't they? I mean they seem to every generation you get King of Fighters. I mean we've had them on Switch, we've had them on PS4, we've had them on PS3, we've had them on I mean so this was King of Fighters 2002, 2003, but they must sell. I mean a lot of people really rave about them, over your Street Fighters and bits and pieces. Those one-on-one fighters, they're not really. I used to have fun with Street Fighter back in the day or Tekken, but it's not really a genre that I've really followed that much. But it's always intrigued me that King of Fighters has always done so well. Even to this day, they still release games, but very interesting. What else we got on here? I noticed the Ford Mustang games. I mean, I know this was an era where Ford were releasing quite a lot of games. I did have quite a few of them for a while, and I think there's one or two of them which are quite rare, actually hard to get hold of. But they done like Ford versus Land Rover and Ford Racing 1, 2, and
Yo,
3,
yo,
and
stop. Collaborate and listen. You see this Rise of the Kasai game? Look at this. Get your
ooh,
eyes on this. Let me save you from Ford Racing versus Lamborghini. I think you were going to take us down a dark road.
and versus Lamborghini.
Rise, I thought you said Land Rover. Rise of the Kasai. You see it?
I'm still trying to find it at the moment.
April 5th.
Oh yes, 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 yes. Oh yes, I know
What's
that game.
that
Yeah.
remind you of?
Sorry if you can hear my dog barking on here.
No
um,
one can hear this.
um,
Looks a little bit like Mark of the Creed, does it not?
yes, it does. Yeah.
Is it this the sequel?
I don't know. I don't know. You, Phil, I'll research.
Okay. It's got a very distinctive artwork and font. So to me, that screams like it's from that. If not, then Sony should probably sue them because I do believe it was a Sony game. A game that intrigues me that I never got a chance to play, but will add to my list of things I would like to pick up is Predator Concrete Jungle. I can remember that getting six and sevens at the time, which was probably the kiss of death for a game in 2005. But through the modern lens, we'd say that's probably not a bad game. I would argue that the review metrics at the time say it was garbage, but it is what it is. RGT, what do the facts tell us? And let's get into the news after that.
Um, action adventure video game developed by Bottle Rocket Entertainment and published by Sony Computer Entertainment for the PlayStation 2. The game serves as a sequel to The Mark of Cry. So you are
Hmm.
correct, young man. Um, yeah. So very interesting game
I
and
tell you another
exclusive.
game that always it was advertised the hell out of at the time. It's that game at the top, Pariah, came out for Xbox apparently in Windows. It's a shooter game. I remember that
Oh, okay,
being
yeah, yeah.
everywhere at the time as well. It might have
Yes,
been
I
because
do.
I was subscribed to the original, and it kind of comes across as like a Half-Life kind of wannabe.
Yeah, even the cover art does, doesn't it? It's got
Yeah, I
that
don't know how it reviewed though. Probably
because
let's have
that
a look at
was,
reception
am I right in think was that an exclusive?
to
Or-
Xbox. I think you could argue it was on PC as well. It was a PC and
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Xbox game. Yeah.
Um,
It got like a 6 to 7s out of 10. So,
yeah. I'll mention
like I
just a
say,
few
mark of death
others.
at the time, wasn't it?
Oh God, yeah. Um, just a few other honourable mentions that come out. We had Pokemon Emerald. We had Haunt and Ground, which I do believe is quite a collectible game nowadays. We had
Big
games
time,
like
yeah.
Smart Bomb over on the PSP there. What else did we have coming out? We had WarioWare Twisted. Trying to think of anything that people know. MotoGP 4.
SingStar Pop World.
Yeah, SingStar Pop World. Ease. Another one of the E's. The Oath of Felagana, which I've never played that one.
That's something you made me take before I took you to the doctors.
And then we had things like Archer McLean's Mercury, which was a definite
Mate, that's
step away
everywhere.
from, yeah,
That game is everywhere.
obscure. And yeah, so there was a slew of games out at the time. Plenty to choose from. But I think this time now,
Oh,
let
hang on a
me.
minute, mate. You didn't scroll down far enough. Psychonauts came out April 19th, 2005.
Oh, no one's playing that.
Bash. Some losers are playing it right now.
Yeah, they certainly
Um,
are.
I picked this up, much like I'm going to pick up Midnight Club 3 Dub Edition a few weeks ago. Just intrigued by it, never really picked it up at the time. Always heard a lot of noise about it. Absolutely brilliant presented game. It's a game that feels a little bit trapped by the hardware of the PlayStation 2. I don't know what episode it was, maybe the main show, the Unofficial Controller
Yeah,
podcast
yeah,
that
you
talks
speak
about
about it
it
on there.
in the
Yeah.
What You've Been Playing section. But yeah, for a game from 2005, it's got all the tropes of something that was maybe built for something that worked on a hard drive. It feels slick, the way you interact with it, the way it kind of gets you to pick your control type, put your name in for your save file. Everything about this game is about taking friction away and letting you just play. It's a work of art as far as I'm concerned in that regard. Some of the mechanics probably not aged that well. Um, Probably could do with a little bit more of a modern handheld to pull you through the first sections just so you can get the rhythm in if you're not used to games from that era. But other than that, lots to be said. I think you should probably also give some props to Nintendogs.
This
I know,
baffled me. So I remember my daughter playing Nintendogs, and now to
yeah.
think that Nintendogs was out the same month as Psychonauts baffles me. I always thought Nintendogs was a lot later. It's
I
unbelievable, really.
probably believe it. DS game, probably was
Yeah,
early DS
exactly.
at the
We
time,
forget
right?
how old the DS is.
Nintendogs, mate, that must have shifted so many.
Mm.
My daughter got a DS, obviously, way past this time, and fell in love with Nintendogs
Yeah, yeah, my daughter did as well.
very
She was
much.
born 2005, so that was a few years later. But Nintendogs is what she played straight away, one of the first games.
Yeah. And do you know what? I've always like had to doff me cap to Nintendogs because I think the advertisements on the TV were really good, really
Yeah,
classy. I
yeah.
think the way the product presents, with the kind of breeds on the side and the art on the front, and it was all kind of, it was almost like you were buying. Now this might be my imagination, but it always when even when I see them in a charity shop now, it almost feels like you're buying the keys to a like a kennel club dog. It
Mm,
feels right, doesn't it? It feels
yeah.
authentic. You get it, and you're like, "Oh, crikey, Labrador, yeah, okay, let's get this home." You sort of delicately wing it home. You put it in your DS, and more often than not, on these sort of older ones, it comes up, and you're like, "There you go, let's bring this dog in here." And it's a bit obtuse. It's all very much around the stylus, and this is how you're going to play a DS game. But in there is the heart of something where you actually feel like you've got a real dog in your DS.
Mm,
And that's
yeah.
the magic of Nintendogs, because it doesn't matter whether you're a kid or an adult. At some point in time, the Nintendo magic comes down. You're all in on this pixelated pile of fur.
Mm, mm,
All in on it.
mm. It's almost
Um,
like the Tamagotchi at the time, wasn't
I that's it. But the price to entry, a little bit like your Lenovo, was a little high. Probably
it?
could have got a real dog for that money
Yeah.
in
Probably at the time, yeah.
2005. They're for life, not just for Christmas, right? But and
Mm,
Nintendogs did that save a dog or
mm,
two? Probably did, didn't it?
mm.
Mummy, mummy, I want a dog, I want a dog. Oh, crikey, it's Nintendogs. How's that going on? He's dead. That's why he ain't got a real dog. right? We joke, but it's saved a few, you know,
Probably did.
canine brothers, hasn't it? Let's
Mm,
face it. So fair play to it. One more shout on the way out, friend, and it's kind of good because it works for the news. Is the Midway published Area 51, which I think was like a late PS2
mm,
Xbox game. I remember it reviewing graphically quite well and being quite the kind of critical darling. It was a game I kind of followed and thought would get an absolute kicking, and ended up doing quite well from
mm.
memory. Have you got it? Have you played it?
Yeah, I think I got the Steelbook as well for PS2 because they'd actually done a Steelbook of it. So that was obviously
Look
they're
out,
expecting it to be
cowboy!
quite.
Another
Yeah,
little.
yeah. I think it was quite more popular than what people remember. I think people look back at these Area 51 games or Alien games thinking, oh, that was probably a bit of shovelware, but actually no, it was
Yeah.
quite a well developed game, I
Hey,
think.
mate,
And
I was looking at like things like Destroy All Humans on Xbox and PS2. I actually managed to get through not only the cycle of a late stage game, but get to a sequel of a late stage game as well. And
mm,
those games look really good.
yeah, yeah,
And because they're dumped at the back end, a bit like Area 51, they're kind of a bit forgotten. And
mm,
now I know Destroy All Humans got what, a modern remake or a
yeah.
remaster. Let's not call it
PS4,
a
didn't they?
remake,
And
let's call it a
Xbox.
remaster. Yeah. And game holds up.
Mm.
Game holds up real well.
Yeah, gameplays. It didn't really have to change the gameplay, just modernise the graphics a bit, and
Mate,
away you go.
I'll be honest with you. I put it on PS2 not that long ago. It's one of those games that you can get running at 480p and it looks, mate, it looks absolutely fine.
Yeah, I bet you. I bet it does. Yeah.
Yeah,
Um.
sexy.
Yeah. So brilliant. Like I say, there's plenty to talk about with what we would have been hopefully playing at that time. But like I say, we'll head over to the news now. We scoured the very darkest back pages of the gaming mags and even delved deep into the interweb to bring you what was the latest stories in May 2005. And this is first up from gamesindustry.biz. They are all from gamesindustry.biz. And also, I've kept these on par this week because 2005 there was new tech coming. This is a little bit about each three bits of tech that people are all talking about at the time. And our first story is Kutaragi considers outsourcing PSP production. Sony is not prepared to start selling in Europe with launch just 3 months away, according to comments made by Ken Kutaragi. Sony Computer Entertainment President Ken Kutaragi has confirmed that the PSP production may be outsourced as consumer demand for the handheld continues to rise and a European launch approaches, according to a report on Bloomberg. We have to somehow increase our production capacity as we're not prepared to start selling in Europe. We've run out of units in the US and it's still selling well in Japan, Kutaragi told Bloomberg. We're making the key components here, but we're looking to expand assembly of the production outside of Japan, he continued, adding that Taiwan and China are being considered as two possible options. But according to Taipei newspaper, the Commercial Times, Taiwanese company Honhai Precision Industry has already picked up the contract. Honhai currently manufacture PS2 consoles for Sony, and the newspapers claims that PSP production is due to commence in the third quarter of this year. Neither Sony nor Honhai were available for comment. Are you all right, George?
I tell you what, it's easy for you to make decisions from up there, isn't it? Up on high, like you are, the way you are.
Oh, Honhai, very good. At present, there is only one factory producing PSP consoles. This is a tough one. The Kurazuru facility east of Tokyo, which manufactures around 1 million units per month. That is crazy. Sony has previously announced plans to double this figure by the summer as it continues to fight to compete with Nintendo. The success of the Game Boy SP and Nintendo DS consoles have gained Sony's rival a 90% share of the Japanese handheld market. The PSP launched in Japan last December and in the US back in March. The European release has slipped several times, with Sony citing hardware shortages as the cause, and the handheld is currently set for a September the 1st launch. Yeah, I thought this was interesting because I can't remember there being a delay with the PSP coming out in Europe. I can't remember that at all, but I think the sales in America and Japan really seemed to have caught Sony on the hop. I
Mm.
don't think they expected it to be as popular. They'd almost sort of,
I think the forces market in America are solely alone at this up like raw,
mm,
you know, big time. Add that into your transient college market, add that into a world pre-smartphone, and
yeah,
this thing looks like a hot ticket.
mm, yeah,
It's got really everything you might want in your pocket. Got a
mm,
little bit of web browsing when you're at home. It's got your movies. You can put movies on it. You can download your music to it. So all of a sudden, you've got this gaming machine in your pocket that's going to play music, play movies. It's exactly what they wanted it to be. It's the Walkman of the modern era. Except it got, look, the PSP by any metric was a success unless you measure it against its competitor, which is the Nintendo product. And at that point, things start to look a little bit not so great. But the PSP sold fantastically well, as you
over
say.
80 million. Yeah, over 80
Yeah,
million. They sold.
anywhere else you would say that was a success.
Oh,
And
you
I
would,
believe
yeah,
it was, which is why the Vita got green lit.
yeah,
I think they missed some of the marks of what made the PSP great when they
mm,
popped the Vita out, if I'm honest
mm,
with you. Like, where are the movies?
exactly.
At least give me Netflix or something.
It's the
Work with
same
me.
with putting a DVD player in a PS2. You're giving people a reason to buy it who necessarily wouldn't buy it for the games. So
Mm.
you put movies on it. There's people who are thinking, well, I'm not really a gamer, but I'd love to be able to watch a movie in my pocket. Yeah, so it would have been brilliant to have that on the Vita. Definitely.
The thing is, I suppose by the time the Vita came out, we were fully in the grip of smartphones. So then you got to differentiate. You got to say, actually,
True.
we're just a gaming thing now. So
Yeah.
it was they were difficult times to manage, but this was the perfect time and the perfect product.
Mm,
I think it was always going to be a little bit more your kind of bigger boys one. I'd had previously working away the way I did, I'd had Nintendo products and they're all right for 10, 20 minutes, but then you're kind of a bit bust. So then you sort of migrate to a console with a screen. So then you're taking like a massive bag away, you're taking all these different wires and chargers. You set your console up for half-hour blast, and it takes you probably half hour to set it up, and it looks like it's on life support. And it's not terribly cool. Whereas the PSP, it fits in your pocket.
yeah. Yeah.
All those problems gone.
And it had that. This is Sony, especially when the PS3 came out as well. And even if you had, I mean, I've got a 3D Blu-ray player of the era as well, and they had that interface:
Mm,
PSP, PS3, Blu-ray player, and they tried to really go down the more classier route. Whereas the Nintendo, no disrespect, was more seen as a kiddie's handheld. It was more seen as a child's
yeah. So
handheld.
what do they call it, Sony, at that time? They developed, was it the XMB bar or something? Is that what they
It's
call it?
something like that, yeah.
I don't think
And
it really worked.
I know I've said this loads of times on the UCP as well, but I still remember when I got my PSP 3000, got it in the red, and I just thought, what a classy piece of kit. All the buttons looked really classy. You had your sound and your brightness and your volume, and it all looked like almost like a little mini bit of media tech from your house in your pocket. And the design
Well,
was
that's
brilliant.
exactly what it was.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and it was, doing things that other things weren't doing at the time. And then
Mm,
to squeeze that all in, and then you'd look at it and think, well, these are PS2 games. They're not quite as good as PS2, but you really did think they were very close when you were
on
getting
the
Vice City
screen in that
stories and
time, totally acceptable.
yeah, unbelievable. Yeah, it was a proper, you know, you didn't feel. We've said this before with other things, like the Switch 2 in on the UCP, where the compromise had gone. You
Mm,
didn't feel compromised. And if you had a PSP as your main console, you didn't really feel like you're missing out because also it was backed well. So a lot of developers were, for
totally
instance,
agree.
like Juiced or Gran Turismo or the bigger titles, they were releasing a PSP version. It was
Yep.
they were seeing the sales and thought it's worth us putting
Yeah, mate.
so you
There,
weren't
there were
missing out
times where
much.
you were getting day and date PS2 and PSP games concurrent,
Yes, yes, yeah, definitely.
so you
And
could
this,
buy a home for PS2, and buy it to take away
yeah,
with you on PSP. And I guess you're probably going to be spending the thick end of what, $70?
hmm yeah,
But hey, do you know what? You'd be sorted.
yeah, yeah. And I mean, obviously Sony was caught on the hop here because they did not expect this popularity. Like you say, the US market absolutely hoovered this up to where they
Mm,
sold out. Japan was selling really quick. And this company was making 1 million units per month. I can't get my head around that. And then Sony was so caught out, they were like, you need to double that to 2 million. Imagine being told that you're flat out making
I think
1
initially
million
when
units.
anyone launches a piece of new tech, a console, a handheld, a phone, or whatever it is, you know that the initial sale price, the RRP, is going to be high. So you factor in, I guess, for a target with some stretching, normally 10% of what you think you're going to do. I don't think Sony are a badly managed business. So even by their own metric of success, they exceeded their sales targets and 10% stretch goal. And we're into a world where they'd then exceeded that moment and we're into a position where they'd exhausted their supply chain. That's one hell of success. They
Yeah,
were patting themselves on the back, but at the same token, as Kutaragi is saying, we've got this kind of flow of desire. We've got this kind of push behind the product. We've messed up by not having these
yeah,
components here because there's this not only in the countries that it's launching in that are depleted the launch stocks, we're trying to get enough stock together to satisfy that and launch in Europe. And if they catch wind of how well this is going, they're going to buy it up in droves as well.
yeah,
We need to overproduce.
yeah.
And in a way, you do see an element of that now, 20 years later from this period, with PSPs stacked from floor to ceiling.
Hmm.
When we say it sold 80 million units, if you go into any second-hand market, you can see why. They're
Hmm.
everywhere, aren't they? But
Yeah.
at the time, they didn't have enough. So maybe they ended up chasing their tail through the production of the PSP from then on in, really.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think it's you know, as they say, strike while the iron's hot. But if the stock isn't there and you're chasing it, you're thinking, oh my God, we could be selling 10 times this number, but we haven't got the stock, you know.
Well, also, you maybe didn't want to overcommit to high price launch stock while you wait for the groundswell to go so you can start buying up in even bigger bulk than you were before.
Mm,
So, well, oh, okay, we got them out. Oh, God, nightmare, boss. Well, what is it? They love it. Sugar.
yeah, yeah, definitely.
Okay.
Yeah, so yeah,
Interesting.
definitely interesting bit of news,
That's
but
one way of dealing with success, isn't it? They've had
mm,
their cake, now they're trying to eat it.
yeah,
What's next? Here's my bit of news.
yeah,
Now, over at what was this gamesindustry.biz
yeah.
contributor on the 31st of May 2005, Tom Bramwell got his pen out, his crayons, got his legal pad out, started writing this. Metal Gear creator uncertain on the PlayStation 3. Oh, how he changes his tune.
Mm.
Hideo Kojima indicates that he is worried about the high standard Sony has set with its PlayStation 3 launch campaign and weighs in on each of the next generation platforms. Here we go then, Hideo. Metal Gear Solid creator Hideo Kojima has weighed in on the battle of the next generation consoles, stressing their diversity and cautioning that he is not sure if everyone can live up to the high standard that Sony is expecting on PlayStation 3. The platform for which his Konami subsidiary Kojima Productions is developing the next Metal Gear Solid title. Speaking in an online interview, Kojima-san said Xbox 360 was a little bit more down to earth, so people maybe can join easily to start creating on the 360. While on the Nintendo Revolution front, the DS connectivity and downloadable back catalogue gave him the impression that the developers could create games on a lesser budget. Kojima-san then launched into a lengthy analogy about having dinner to clarify his thoughts. I can't wait for this. PS3 would be like a dinner you only have once a year or twice a year on your anniversary, he said, whereas Xbox 360 would be something you had 2 or 3 times a month. And Revolution is a kind of a great dinner that you have every day at your home. He's a man of my ilk, isn't he? The
Mm.
point is that they're all individualistic dinners, he said, and as a result, it's all about choice. For Kojima-san, the next generation conflict is about how much the dinner will be, isn't about how much the dinner will be. Will it be worth the cost? Where can I have this dinner? Um, if you want to read the full interview with Hideo Kojima on boomtown.net, probably get in the Wayback Machine, have a little look-see. In the meantime, RGT, you leave me here with Kojima's word soup. It seems that head of the PS3, he became a big advocate making MGS4 an exclusive for the longest time. It's only recently managed to escape the orbit of the PlayStation 3 and come in the second iteration of the Metal Gear Solid collection. He made this exclusive for the longest time, citing its as you install Metal Gear Solid 4, it tells you about the amazing use of the Blu-ray digital disc, how versatile it is, how this is only possible here on the PlayStation 3 because of this size and its abilities and all that good stuff. But who would have thought
Mm.
mere months before he sat there saying that it's hard to know with these Japanese interviews quite what they are saying actually in the true translation. And it
Mm.
looks to me they maybe didn't get the full gist of what he's saying, but I kind of see what he's saying. I don't actually think he's even referring to the even the programming capabilities. I think he's probably thinking more along the price or the mindset associated with it. The PS3 high-end product, maybe once or twice a month you go there. It's a posh restaurant, it's
Mm.
expensive, a high caliber. What did he say at the start? Is a very high standard that Sony is expecting in terms of its product quality of
Yeah.
production in PS3 games. Um,
Me personally, I saw him when I first read this. I thought, oh, you wouldn't have thought Kojima was having a bit of a dig at Sony here, saying that their standards are too high. But once reading it back, I think he's almost saying to other developers, if you want to develop on this, this is, this is the A class standard. He's almost actually praising Sony and saying the others are a lesser system. Do you know what I mean? The Xbox, yes, you'd have dinner at Xbox dinner, 2 or 3 times a month, whereas Sony is something you just have on an anniversary. It's a special system, and it's almost saying to the other devs, if you want to create on a PS3, you need to have a high standard. Maybe that's something to do with because I know the PS3 was actually a bit awkward to develop for. I think it was quite complicated with its own architecture. So maybe
yeah,
he's meaning that as
I don't
well.
even, initially I thought that's what this would be about, but I'm actually now thinking that it's about a combination of many things. It's a combination of the difficulty for programming, and I think within all of this is also wrapping it up within around the price and availability and affordability of the said console as well.
Mm. Yeah, obviously launching at the price they did was it was a high
It kind of
price.
walls it off. It suddenly makes the PlayStation 3 that expensive dinner you have once or twice a year on your anniversary in
Mm.
terms of affordability. The 360s 2 or 3 times a month, it's affordable fodder. It's your hungry horse, whatever it's called.
Yeah.
And people liked our pricing, the way we did it last week, by the way, on the main show. The Starmers, the Macrons, and the
Oh,
Trumps.
really? Did they?
Apparently. Uh, yeah, and the Nintendo, I mean, what are they? They're probably sort of just over $100 at the time. You know, it is something that you eat at every day, something your kids can throw around and get ruskin, and it doesn't matter, it's still going to turn on, isn't it?
Yeah. 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 And it was obviously, especially with the Xbox launching a year earlier, roughly, than the PS3.
Yeah, killer
Every
move.
That was a killer move, and everyone was then thinking, well, PS3's a year late. Is it going to be this massive bit of tech? Is it going to be
Well, was
massively
it a year
different?
later? Was it on time? And did Xbox 360 just do a juiced? I actually think the Xbox 360 did a juiced.
No, well, they did because obviously they launched too early because they didn't have the correct cooling in the systems. It was obviously the early ones didn't even launch with the HDMI, so they did literally chuck it out
But there's
there.
a lot of what I
But
would
it worked.
call
It worked.
hardcore PS2 operators
Hmm.
that moved across to
Oh,
360
without a doubt, yeah.
that didn't come back until maybe PS4.
Yeah, no, you're right. It financially, it didn't do him a lot of good, but on the
Mm.
actual on the ground of gamers, it really did. From the sales of the original Xbox, which was quite actually mediocre when you look at the sales figures, to the 360, you're like, oof, that's a massive leap from what the original sold to what the 360 sold. That is a massive gap.
Yeah,
It wasn't
I
just
think
like
they
a
came
standard
back to.
progression.
I think that audience, for the most part, came back to Sony in the PS4 era, and Sony did a really good job of locking them down into the ecosystem, and now they
Yeah.
can't leave.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. But yeah, interesting from Kojima. And these early days of these new systems, that is interesting to see what people are saying, especially people as highly regarded as Kojima. But a final bit of news, also from GamesIndustry.biz, is Midway confirms support for Xbox 360. US publisher Midway has confirmed that it intends to support Microsoft's Xbox 360 console in future, despite having no software ready for the system's Q4 launch, with 7 titles for the platform currently in development. Seven. Um, US publisher Midway has confirmed that it intends to support Microsoft's Xbox 360 console despite. Oh, it's just repeated that bit. I'll carry on. Speaking to the US website GameSpot, a Midway representative said that Midway is fully supporting Xbox 360 and we have games in development at all of our internal studios. The news follows comments from Midway CEO David Zucker earlier this week, which revealed that the company will be releasing software to support the launch of the PS3, but not of Xbox 360. At the time, Zucker commented that the decision was down to a pretty small install base and said that to really maximize to get the performance out of some of the games, it's going to take some time to do that. And we want to make sure we're launching high quality titles. However, the publisher fully intends to support Xbox 360 going forward, it insists, and has confirmed that 7 games are in development for the platform at present and its internal studios, including an Xbox 360 version of the next gen title Stranglehold, which will also appear on PS3 and is a game sequel to Hong Kong director John Woo's cult 1992 hit Hard Boiled.
Banging
Um,
game.
mm, um,
And I checked because I didn't remember Midway's association, but I went and grabbed the game off the shelf and damn straight, brother. There it is, right on the front, bottom right hand side, the Midway logo. Bright and bold as a button.
mm. Well, this basically said to me that originally they're saying, we're PS3, we're not going to be going on Xbox 360, and then suddenly the U-turn. I think they knew this was launching early and this was going to be a seller. So they've done this
Mm.
sudden U-turn. Oh no, we are going to be producing. We've got
People, I
7 games.
think as things started to drip feed during the year, it wasn't till the back end of the year that we got confirmation of some of the games like Oblivion, started to see leaks of the Dash. I People started to pay attention, and I think this is that moment in the sand where better get up, get switched on, get involved. I mean, they were there for the launch of the PlayStation 3. Stranglehold, I think, was around that time.
Mm,
Um, I think it sold gangbusters on. Now, the chicanery of Mr. Zucker's comments here is that the install base isn't there for the 360, yet they're preparing for the hyper expensive PlayStation 3 in a year's time, that by then will only just be starting its install base.
yeah, hence why he's done this U-turn.
Exactly. It's like a
Is
massive reverse logic. They there's Midway titles on the OG Xbox, so why not just announce something saying you don't have to go into numbers, you don't have to do anything. You just put out a press statement that everyone's expecting you to see from Midway Games saying, with the advent of the new generation of consoles, Midway are pleased to announce that they'll be supporting PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360. Congratulations on another generation of gaming.
mm, you think that'd have been better because when he said,
Wouldn't that be the easy route?
well, it would, and also they'd obviously, to me, it sounds like they put all their eggs in one basket, which was the PS3. Then when they started getting the rumours on the inside that the 360 is going to launch early, it's going to sell big numbers, you know, it tells you that they weren't prepared for that when he
Well,
says
did we
we've
know it
got.
was going to do big numbers? I suppose Mr.
Well,
Zucker, he didn't know, did he?
well, no, but he also says, like I was just saying, the future, despite having no software ready, so they were caught on the flop and basically thought, hang on, we need to be on this system, we need to be selling on this system, and like you probably rightly said, this they probably realised that launching early, there's going to be a lot of PS2 people jump across to this. We need to have games on this system.
Yeah, they didn't. I don't know if they knew, but the barometer at the time, felt the PS2 felt like it had rumbled on for a while, and in between the PS2 launching and 2005, the reality of it, technology had moved on quite a lot in
Yeah.
terms
Oh,
of
massively.
everything
Yeah.
else in your life. So the PS2 gen felt old. The OG Xbox came along as a bit of a kick in the arse because it was like, oh, maybe console gaming's still got a little bit of teeth in its mouth, with Halo, stuff going on with the hard drive. It's like, it was a little bit of a shot in the arm. When the 360 and PS3 broke surface and 360 came out in the back end of 2005, people sat up and paid attention because
Mm.
they were bored of the flat grey textures and they wanted to see something. And I tell you what, in terms of like generational leap, 16-bit to 32 was one of them.
Mm.
32 to 128 or PS2 was something else. But also the generational leap from sort of PS2 to PS3, OG Xbox to 360 was significant, mate.
Oh, massive, massive. Yeah.
We'd gone to worlds that were at the time veering on sort of the best we'd seen, could be argued almost in sometimes photorealistic. I know that gets chucked around in gaming a lot. Every gen we hear it from the Spectrum to now, and it's probably only becoming true today. But photorealistic, believable, lived in worlds
Mm.
suddenly became the de rigueur, didn't they?
Yeah, and I mean, I still remember getting my PS3. You had to get a new TV to play it on, and then playing MotorStorm and thinking, "Oh my God, the HD!" That's the first time I'd seen HD, and just thinking, "Oh my God, this is unbelievable," you know.
Yes.
And it was you really felt this is a massive leap, massive leap. But for 360 to, like you say, drop the ball early, get launching. Yeah, it brought a lot of people over, and then once you got the online and bits and pieces, they were absolutely smashing it out of the park for the first few years. And obviously, David Zucker had a bit of a whiff of this and had to do a bit of a U-turn on. We're not producing for them, but now we are producing, but they're not quite ready yet. But we have got 7 titles being made. I thought, yeah, you've, yeah, I think you're starting to realise what a powerhouse the 360 is going to be. Um, interesting. Interesting bits of news there. I hope you like those. I tried to keep them sort of hardware based because it was 2005 is that time where we were getting this new hardware. We were a bit spoilt for choice with the upcoming 360 PSP. People are all wanting to see what that was like. PS3 was still a little way off, but 360 weren't far off. And yeah, it was an interesting time to see what developers thought and how they were handling numbers and all the productivity, with the PSP and bits and pieces. But yeah, very interesting. Do a bit. Should we do a bit? Oh no, we'll do the housekeeping at the end.
No,
Well,
no, let's do it now.
you want to do it now?
And then
Yeah.
we're Ray and Easter chocolate. We're done because this is Easter flashback.
Mm,
Do you know?
yeah.
Do you want to know my retro Easter memory?
No.
Okay, I'll keep it to
No.
myself.
No. Go on. Go on. I do want to hear it. Come on.
This has got real spirit. This is very iconic.
Mm,
This is me going to my nan's. Uh, so maybe even Tom was about taking my newly acquired SNES, playing Mario All Stars, eating Easter chocolate, and then going and sitting with my grandfather and watching an amazing European Grand Prix where they had the iconic Prost and Hill Sonic Williamses,
hmm
and where Senna, I remember like the build up, then going back playing a bit of SNES, and then the start, and then like coming back over and just being like, wow, 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 like sitting down, like, yeah, oh, wow. And yeah, mate, great memory.
Brilliant.
Yeah, getting the warmth of the fire on your knees as you come back because it was this big room. So if you went out from the circle of chairs, you felt like you were Captain Oates going out making the ultimate sacrifice. It was absolutely Baltic.
I'm going to the toilet or maybe
Yeah,
sometime.
and you felt like that. Like you went for a wee and you felt like you were going to have to wee on ice. It was brutal. So if you and the TV, obviously the SNES and the TV had to be outside of the circle, but I still wanted to be in the same room because if you were on your own, it felt even colder.
Mm,
But if you were in a cold room with people that were warm, you felt all right. So that was me all playing that, and then entering the warmth circle for the Grand Prix. That's how I remember it anyway. Someone's probably couldn't come on here and now said that's not possible. Like, okay, well, it's how I remember it.
Brilliant. Yeah, I love memories like that. Easter memories gaming, I don't really have many. More it's always Christmas for me. I don't really have many of the
Well, that's the
Easter.
only one I've got, and it kind of
Mm,
sticks. It's kind of that. It felt like that kind of Good Friday bank. I definitely remember having Easter eggs. Why
yeah,
else would I be there?
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Uh, I don't know. Yeah,
I
it
mean,
felt right.
if you've got any Easter memories, gaming memories, let us know at questions@unofficialcontrollerpodcast.com.
Oh, I'd
Or
love to hear those.
yeah, jump on our Discord, let us know on there. You can find links to that in our Instagram Unofficial Controller podcast page, or mine, Retro Gamer Thomas page. Is a link tree you can jump on from there. Or if you're not on any of them, just email us and we'll send you a link. Um, Also, check out our website, our ever growing website. For flashback and unofficial controller news, and so it's unofficialcontrollerpodcast.com. If it doesn't come up on your search, just put unofficial controller website in. We've got a TikTok now, so definitely jump on there. We're releasing reels and bits and pieces. And also OLL 26. If you don't know what OLL is, it is a games convention in Norwich. We will be there this year. Me and George and a few other our members
If
are.
we weren't already the Alan Partridge of podcasts, mate, we are now. We're going to television studios in Norwich.
I don't know if it's television studios, it's Epic Studios, but
Was it the
um,
former Norwich TV studios?
I'm not sure. I always thought it was. I don't know if I'm correct on that, but we'll find out when we're there.
Why
But
don't we just make it up?
yeah, well, Anglia TV Studios. We've got Alan Partridge on the table with us,
Yeah.
back of the net. So he'll be doing a live interview with us for Radio
Do you
Norfolk.
know, I had a little moment earlier, and I know this is completely irrelevant. You're going to chastise me for it, but I was going to ask you what that little shelf was with the little sort of little drawers in it on the wall behind you. Then I realised it was a PlayStation symbols light that had just kind of like fell down
Given
a
up,
bit.
given up on life. Yeah, my temporary set, but
I
yeah,
thought it was like a little Harry Potter thing, but like these little drawers for the houses.
no, it's just died. It's just thought, do you know what? I've had enough of this. But the set will be changing here. I've got a new layout to
No
try.
one
So
knows what the flashback video set looks like, though.
no, no, no. But they will do hopefully once we start doing videos. So I'll hopefully have it ready for then. But anyway, yes, OLL 26. Come and get your tickets. Come and join us. Come and say hello. There's plenty on. Dominic Diamond's doing presenting there. We've
He
got
is.
yeah.
That's
There'll be
enough of a deal. If you grew up in the UK and you profess to know anything about video games, come meet like video game Jesus. What's wrong with you?
yeah. So and there'll be John and his team always do a fantastic show. There'll be events on. There'll be challenges. There might even be a little event on our table. So you'll have to come over and see us and find out. But we will be down at
Look,
Fiction Controller podcast
let's
flash.
not mess about.
Hang on,
OLL.
hang on. I'm just telling them where to find us. We'll be at the flashback stroke unofficial controller podcast table. You'll see the both our images. You'll see George's sexy face standing there. So he's now frowning at me yet again. What is the problem now, George?
In the official marketing template and documents of the show, UCP goes first.
I know you're going to say that. I had started saying that first before I was rudely interrupted before I could even finish my sentence, and then I got it wrong and said flashback first. But yes, come and find us at the Unofficial Controller Podcast slash flashback. You will see us there. Um,
Yes, because
There'll
the
be no one round the
UCP
table, just
always
us looking
slashes
lonely.
on the facey B.
Calm down. This is flashback.
It's just a nice way to remember it.
I'm not sure it's a nice way to remember it, but yes, check out OLL, get your tickets. I think it's at ticketbright.com, I believe. But yeah, check out on there. Yeah, I think that's pretty much most of the housekeeping, isn't it? I don't think there's anything you want to add
I
to
had that
that.
one thing. I had that one thing that I've waited patiently.
Yes, go on then.
May I? I shall. Let's OLL 26. Call it what you like. Let's face it. Let's face it. It's the UCP Live 26, isn't it? So get yourself down there, grab a ticket, screw your face up all you like, RGT. We'll sell it how we like. If we get enough people there, look at it this way. It's a takeover.
Okay.
We can do this, and we will do this.
I don't know. with all the work John's put in, he's going to be totally grateful about you just taking over his show for a UCP Live.
Oh, look out. We've sold a load of tickets. Maybe I can retire to a small Caribbean island.
I thought you were going to say caravan.
That's better. It fits the scale. Maybe I can retire to a small caravan in
There we go.
Yarmouth.
There we go. Yes, that's better.
Yarmouth.
Yeah.
Yarmouth. You don't want to be. No, actually, he don't defecate in his own town. He'd go in Maybo.
Okay. Are you done
You're
with your
hard not to
takeover?
crack on this show, you know.
I know I am. I'm trying to keep it straight laced and professional. And you keep mentioning defecate. That's your new word of
That's
the
my
month.
way of being
You've done it on
professional.
UCP as well, this mate.
Yeah, you want professional? I'll use the professional words. I defecated on it.
Well, that leads us nicely into what we affectionately call Stingray's boot. What's nestled between some counterfeit nappies and a dodgy copy for Battle for Endor is some of the new releases for June 2005 spring stock. Wow, wow.
Get out of the way! Bloody hell. He's keen today.
Yes, I know. He's obviously got a few promises to be made, I think, or kept. What are you picking out of Stingray's boot, or did you want to describe what Stingray looks like?
I absolutely do. Because I tell you what, hot off the hype. And at this point now, 6 films worth of tat he needs to offload, and he's not quite sure when he's next going to get the chance to do a mega dumper tat like this. So everything's a third of the price. He's all over it like a rash. He's got out the car dressed like Jar Jar Binks. He's thrown little Wayne at me. Like, what is this? Vader? You could have done him as Yoda. You missed an open goal here. All right, calm down. I know. Fine. Don't worry about it. So there you go. That's how I'm seeing him. I tell you what movie I'm picking. Star Wars.
Whoa, hold on, hold on, hold on. We ain't doing
I'll
movies
do
yet.
as I want.
No, whoa. You just rewind a bit there, Stallion. We'll just go back to what we're going to be playing. I haven't even done what my Stingray looks like yet. We'll do the films at the end. You just wind that little neck in.
If a tree falls in the woods and no one sees it, did it make a noise?
God, that's like having Eric Cantona on here.
If I see the ray and you don't tell me how he sees, did Ray even come?
Anyway, how I'm seeing the
You
Ray.
wanted Ray on Flash UB, you wanted the sled, but you got to deal with the fallout of a man who appears differently to everybody.
Mm.
You can't just skirt these questions. They're
I'm not
big.
skirting them, but you were going straight into movie selection. That's just like, whoa up there, fella. Let's
Yeah, and I
just
was saying
stick
to
the
you,
script
like,
of the show.
okay,
Right.
how are you seeing Lord Way?
Ray. Well, I'm seeing the Ray. He's in leather tight, very tight leather trousers.
Is he?
He's in a purple shirt. He looks very similar to the guy of Seven Sins on the cover.
I thought that's what you would do.
Yeah, he's very similar. Although he hasn't got the shoes like the guy. He's in sort of these sort of dirty white Crocs with no socks.
Be careful because I'm nervous that you're going to announce Wayne as the legs we were looking through.
No,
Thank God.
definitely not.
Not the woman in his ear on the front.
No. He's been a bit more careful with that. Little Wayne, he looks like one of the like zombie guys from
Oh,
Cold
thank
Fear
God.
on the ship.
Fine.
Yes.
Yeah. Nice.
Yes. So he's in a little uniform. He's got a little sort of scruffy sailor's beanie hat on. Yeah.
Less of that.
He's making all the noises of a little zombie.
Less of that. Oh, more of that. More of that.
Yeah. So, but yeah, very on bit. But also,
Actually, a lot less of that. Actually, with my eyes closed, that wasn't clear what that was.
And he's also made his Bluebird look like it's induced. So, but he's actually made the body kit out of cardboard and tried to paint it blue with like poster paint. So, but it's sort of look. I mean, if you get a gust of wind, it's going to blow that sort of side skirts off. But it looks looks similar
What
to a
sort of
juice car.
speed gust of wind do you think it would take the side skirts off?
Not, yeah, he's crawled up the drive a bit, so I think, and he's worried about any high speed. He's going to go straight over his scuttle. So yeah, it's not quite there, but it looks all right. I mean, the cardboard spoiler's sagging a bit,
Mate, if
but
he gets up onto the A12, that's gone.
well, yeah. I mean, the spoiler looks like a bench after Deb's Babs has sat on it. It's got a big bow in
Mate,
the
that ain't a
middle,
spoiler.
isn't it?
That's Tracy's ironing board.
Oh, jeez, wow. Yes, it's a odd shape spoiler. But let's go on to what we were hoping to have been playing. What are you going to pick out of Sting's boot?
That's a wire out of Debs' brassiere.
Steady.
What am I going to pick out of here? I don't know. Oh, I had a game looked out. I'm going to take two because it's
Mm-hmm.
Easter.
Yep.
I'm going to take Batman Begins for Thomas,
Mm-hmm.
OG, as is known. Not you. And I'm also going to take, because I'm feeling really mainstream
Mm-hmm.
and I feel like I want a bit of this. And you're going to be like, George, are you okay? I'm like, yeah, I'm totally fine. I'm taking Medal of Honor European Assault as well.
Nice. No. No, good.
Careful.
I'm gonna go with two. I'm gonna go with a game I really do need to play again. We did play it as part of a playthrough a few years ago on Unofficial Controller podcast, and that is Conquer Live and Reloaded on original Xbox. I've got that. Sort of a modern version of Conquer's Bad Fur Day. I'd like to play that again, but also a game to this day that I still want and I still want to play, and that is Steambot Chronicles. I know it's quite an expensive game now. It's a very
Oh,
collectible
sat
game.
on.
PS2. I
Hmm.
know. I know. I
How
think it
much
was.
is expensive when you say expensive? What does that actually look like?
Let me have a quick look. I know it is. If you know Radical Reggie off the YouTube, that's his favourite game of all time, and he always talks about it. And I saw a bit of play footage when he was playing it, and I thought, do you know what? I really like the look of that game.
Did it
Uh,
even come out here?
yep, yeah, yeah. It's £80 plus, so you're looking. I think if you got a good deal on it, maybe £70 to £90 in between there somewhere for that
Oh
game.
wow, mate. Well, one thing I would say is the UK box art is not doing that game any favors.
No, it's awful when you look at the Japanese box art. But
Those 505s, they were. Thanks for bringing the game out over here.
mm,
Thanks for murdering the game with the box art choices
yeah,
that you made.
yeah. But yeah, so Steambot Chronicles for me, and now I'll give you permission to say your movie.
Oh, now you
You only
unleash the
wanted to
dogs
say it
of
early
war.
because you worried I was going to say it, so you wanted to quickly get
I
in
had
there.
no fear. So I'm gonna pick
Hmm.
Harry Potter.
I thought you were getting Star Wars.
I know, but I like to mix it up.
Mm. Well, I was going to go,
Do you know which Harry Potter it was?
what, 2005? That would have been, don't know, what's the second or third one would it have been?
Goblet of Fire.
Was it really?
Ray got me it. Don't ask.
Mm. I'm not going to ask. I'm not going to ask. Um,
What you
I,
got, lover?
I was going to go Batman Begins. That was out in May
But that would have
2005.
been quite a good idea.
Yes, but because we spoke about Batman Begins quite a bit, I thought, well, as a backup, I'm going to go with, and I still can't believe this film's that old, but I'm going to go with The Longest Yard, the remake with Adam Sadler in. I like that film. It's a good laugh. The remake of the '74 movie with Burt Reynolds in,
Mm.
which was remade again in the UK as Mean Machine with Vinnie Jones as a UK version.
Oh,
Um,
it was.
yeah, yeah, with I think a debutant of Danny Dyer in, I believe, one of his first movies. Um,
Why didn't you say his middle name?
what is his middle name? I don't know his middle name.
All right. I thought it began with an F.
I have no idea where you're heading with this.
Rhymes with looking. Like, I genuinely believe that's his middle name.
Right, say it then. What is it?
We'll get ready with the bleep machine when we come back, by the way. It's a swear word.
Oh well, no, 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 don't say it then. Don't say it.
Danny effing Dyer, mate. You know, it's Danny effing Dyer. You don't say Danny Dyer. That's not how you say it, mate. You
You
say his full
slag.
name, his middle name. Effing, my middle name's effing, mate. Everybody knows that. Everybody knows that, don't they?
Beautiful. I thought he was in the room.
Exactly. And that's why you don't mess with him. And you
No,
say his full name or you don't say it at all.
well, I do apologise, Mr. Dyer, but obviously I can't pronounce that word on here.
Effing, you say that, come here. Hey, why you say that? I just said it. You're going to edit it out. You edit it out, Danny Dyer. Would you even do that? He looks pretty angry to me.
Mm. He
So
sounds it.
why don't you simmer down before you
He sounds
trigger
like
him?
he's about 13, but he sounds it, yeah.
He's just quite far back from the mic. Give him a
Oh,
little bit of,
okay.
he's not sat on my
Okay.
knee. He's
Oh,
Danny Dyer, mate. You
yeah.
don't mess about. He's not going to sit
No.
on someone's knee. It's not an advert. This is not an advert for Caliber Lager.
God.
He's the full deal.
When
He's
do
sat at
people
the
get
back.
that?
Probably the two that listen.
Mm.
It's very
Me and you.
direct. It's very, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It's for ourselves to consume. Uh, what else do you got to tell me about 2005?
Um, I think that's pretty much it, really. I think we've covered May 2005 pretty well. I hope you've liked what we were hoping to play, what we would have
I
been
want to
playing.
just on the when you sent me across that 2005 thing, by the way, I just want to say that it was very much a time of expectation, waiting.
Mm.
It didn't matter which brand you were loyal to. There was that kind of like, oh, what's happening here? What's going on? Are Microsoft going to fumble it back end of the year? What's going on with Sony? Is the PlayStation 2 going to cut it? It was a very, as always, RGT. You always just zone in, sniper in on these months, these kind of,
Thank you.
I don't know, seasonal changes. I
Mm.
would say episode 17, you might have just got lucky, but actually, I think there's a little bit of something to it. I actually now started to see a wider sort of almost strategic picture to what you're doing. This is not how I would do it at all. This is very, very intelligent. So I feel like I'm on a very highbrow show. Very,
Really?
I feel like you're on a highbrow show. I keep trying to drag it into the gutter, and
Oh, God, yes.
you quite rightly just you're not having any of that.
This is the highest anxiety I have a week, just trying to steer you through the filth and just keep you on a straight
I
line.
think filth's a bit strong. I don't think I
It's
make a
almost like you're
beeline for that.
it's almost like you're a worm been put in to sabotage it, and I have to just keep you on track, just so you don't just drag the show down to the UCP depths.
Ooh,
Hmm.
yeah. I, th- I think that might be possibly. I think me or my family have ever received in terms of a compliment in our character.
Hmm.
So I shall take that to the bank and cash it. I don't
No
think I've
problem.
ever been described as a worm. In fact, who am I kidding? In every pantheon of life you could imagine, I've been described as one.
But yes, I
So
hope
thank you, good sir.
no problem at all. You're my little worm. I hope you all enjoyed this show.
Hey, ooh.
I hope you enjoyed the show. Hope May 2005 was interesting enough for you with the hardware coming out, with the news stories and the games. There was plenty of games that coming out there from all different genres. But enjoyed that one. Just say
Yeah, it's great.
thanks for listening. Thanks for continually downloading. I hope you're still enjoying the flashback shows. Like I say, if you want to contact us, questions at unofficialcontrollerpodcast.com, or you can contact the show on your podcast provider, but when it comes through to us, it won't have who you are on there. We can relay that comment on the show, but if you'd like your name read out, just at the bottom, just put your name, and we'll give you a shout out on the show. But yes, thanks everyone. Thanks George again for another great show and your knowledgeable insights into the world of gaming.
Ever random.
Random, but you are very knowledgeable, and that's why you're here. because you have a good memory for games that I tend to forget. So it's normally the
I think I have a
pattern.
good memory for adverts for magazines from
You
many
do,
years
you remember the
ago.
advertising, but you also remember the games. Whereas I'm always like, I've played that, can't remember it. I've played that, can't remember it. So you fill in the gaps and say, well, it was like this, it was like that. So yes, you're a must-have on here, I'm afraid. So you aren't going anywhere, fella.
Yeah,
Yep, sorry about that, but
I was trying to get Scotty interested to see if I could save myself from Flashy V, but he's
that
like,
ain't
nah,
happening.
I'm not
Nope,
recording with him. I
nope.
was like, all right, mate, fair enough. Just
Mm,
tell him politely that you're struggling with work or something. Yeah,
yeah,
awesome.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Strange you how it played out. But yeah,
I
so
see
thanks.
you both, yeah, walked me into a Flashy B permanent co-host role.
Mm.
Stoked. Genuinely though, mate, great. As I say, great episode.
Thank
Enjoying
you
it.
very much. Yes, and like I say, thanks to everyone. Just leaves me to say, flashback, the games you loved, the stories you forgot. I'll see you later, everyone, and I'll see you next week, George.
See you later, guys.